Do you remember the Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ad where loads of people believed that it was all about eugenics? Well, after a recent interview with GQ to promote her biopic movie Christie, whilst there she was talking about the American Eagle ad actually, to be more precise, she was cornered into talking about the American Eagle ad because apparently that is more important than talking about Christie. Needless to say, her response meant that she got a load more backlash from that particular interview, and we're going to take a look at that today. Hello and welcome back to Chat About It, Don't Shout About It with me, Rachel, the Queen of the Woke, as crowned by one of my haters.
I crown you Queen of the Woke!
Let's chat about it. Please comment below as to what Sydney Sweeney ad you would like to see next, and please do keep it friendly in the chat. Now, I know that this was more than several days ago at this point, because I took the opportunity to discuss everything that was happening in the chaotic world of the BBC. And if you haven't seen those videos yet, please do check them out after you've watched this one. So let me just show you the lead up to Sydney's finite response with this particular interview. This was the lead up to it.
We're sort of talking around this American Eagle ad right now, and maybe we should just talk about it. So
we should just talk about it. So yeah, I'm going to corner you with it, basically.
Were you surprised by the reaction?
I did a jean ad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the reaction definitely was a surprise, but it was, I love jeans. All I wear are jeans. I'm literally in jeans and a t-shirt like every day of my life.
Jeans are uncontroversial. Jeans are awesome.
Yeah, I like your jeans.
You look great in your jeans. I think I know how you're going to answer this, but I'm going to ask anyway. I mean,
Sydney Sweeney not breaking any eye contact. Interviewer cannot maintain any eye contact with her.
The president tweeted about the jeans ad, or Truth Socialed about the jeans ad, and that just seems to me like a very crazy moment for anyone, and I wondered what that was like.
It was surreal.
It was surreal. We're sort of talking.
Okay, so that was the lead up to this particular response that I have here on the screen. The interviewer did it on purpose. So the interviewer then goes on to this. White people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. That was like the conversation. Since we're talking about this, which he'd cornered her into, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that situation specifically. It was all purposely leading up to this one moment. Okay, are you going to apologize? What are you going to do? And Sydney responds with this. I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear, which is a very finite response. In other words, I'm not going to talk about it. This should be the response from celebrities. In other words, do your job, entertain, don't answer questions in a particular situation like this when you're promoting something that will get you into trouble with your production company. Stay neutral, stay out of it. That's the best solution. Sydney actually is one of the few celebrities that stays out of it altogether, at least from what I can tell she does. Now, I read something, and this is just a rumor. Okay, but it comes from the tab stating that an insider had told the Daily Mail that Zendaya is refusing to do Euphoria Press with Sydney, which is, if that's true, that's completely unprofessional. That's completely unprofessional. But that is just a rumor, so do not take me at my word for it. The tab article is linked below. I've not even heard of the tab before this, but I'd read it. I'm not entirely 100% sure on its credibility. So other than this one quote that I've got here on screen, because I needed this specific quote, I've not pulled anything else from it. It states several other things as well without providing screenshots or links, that it would be a case of go digging and really, really hunt for the things that they have mentioned. I did find some interesting reactions though in addition to this, and some of this was mentioned via websites whilst I was looking around basically, and one came from an Oscar nominated photographer, Misan Harriman, who wrote this whilst sharing GQ's clip on Instagram. Presuming that you are not a white supremacist, at least say how horrified you were by how this campaign was amplified and celebrated by unrepentant racists who believe in eugenics. At least recognize the harm your genes campaign has caused black folk. The undertone of the campaign is that your genetics are superior to others. The play on words is as clear as day, and racists loved it. So presuming you didn't know what when you shot it, you certainly do now, and it matters. This ain't it. Can I just ask a question? Okay. Were people complaining like this after Beyonce did her jeans ad, which was just shortly after the Sydney Sweeney one, where she has blonde hair and they kept showing her butt off in the jeans? No? Okay, well, because it was just a jeans ad, right? And that's what I thought of the Beyonce ad. Okay, it's just a jeans ad. Now, Sydney doesn't have to answer to anyone about this ad, but apparently people are still mad. This was from Blue Sky. Just some comments, not all. Too many people talking about Sydney Sweeney are focused on jeans commercial, and too few are focused on registered as a Republican a few months before the 2024 election. Why do people get on a high horse about the fact that celebrities can be conservatives? I really don't understand that. You can vote for whoever you want and you can still get on with people at the end of the day. That's just my opinion. And I've been called right-wing, and I'm not right-wing. I'm more of a central person. At least I try to be. I'll be honest, I couldn't muster any energy to be angry about the Sydney Sweeney jeans controversy until I saw a clip of her giving the most glib interview about it with a smug smile on her face, like, I love jeans. There is just no way that her personal politics are not horrifying. What, just because she says that she likes jeans? I don't get why you would think like that. You know, if you're not paying attention first time around and you're only paying attention second time around, I think you need to perhaps research a bit more into what people were saying. This person says, it's funny how Sydney Sweeney got all the flack for the dumb ad. Conservatives went out and bought jeans for their flat butts, and when it was time for them to support her movie, they were nowhere to be found. No culture clash, no fans. I think that's reading into it more than just a little bit too much there. How much promoting was going on for the film Christie? I think I saw like one trailer. I wasn't even aware until very recently that she had done a biopic on Christy Martin. Was that her name, Christy Martin? I think it was. So I don't think there's been much promotion about it, and I think it's more indie. I wouldn't know, but it's not even released here in the UK yet, I don't think. And this person says, Sydney Sweeney says, Yahtzees buy jeans too. Why is everyone just called a Yahtzee nowadays? It's crazy how people just jump to that word. Like words do not have a meaning anymore because people just jump to that particular word because it is the in word for the moment. Anyway, now that was just a selection because I also have one of the most bizarre and maybe somewhat convoluted videos about Sydney Sweeney. The video that I'm about to show you has sped up content, and this is from content creator Jupiter Ball.
All I wear are jeans.
Now, check out the follow-up question.
Is there something that you want to say about the ad itself? The Sydney Sweeney has great jeans. Do you have?
The ad spoke for itself.
You think the ad spoke for itself? Okay. And the criticism of the content, which was basically that maybe specifically in this political climate, like white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. Like that was kind of like the criticism, broadly speaking. And since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
She was given an opportunity to push back. She didn't. Therefore, she's in on it. And this is in an interview in which she speaks extensively about how she uses her art to be able to pass on difficult ideas that make people think. She's not naive. She's not stupid. And this.
Okay, I do agree that she is not naive and she's certainly not stupid, but I believe that she did push back, and that's why she's not naive or stupid. The interviewer was purposely getting her into a corner and she wouldn't allow it. She made it so the interviewer had no choice but to move on. Sydney does not talk about political climate, and she graced the interviewer with more than enough answer in with her reaction. She didn't even have to do that. Now, no matter what her answer was, she would have been thrown under the bus anyway. And his response here just proves that that's going to happen. He could have stopped there, but he continued to, in my opinion, it's just an opinion, overanalyze the situation. Let me show you.
This reminded me of two things that I saw recently. First, this video clip by professor and author Roxane Gay.
I think that's also why we see a lot of the voting statistics that we see in the United States around white women voting for Republicans who they know are fascist, who they know are authoritarian. It's because adjacency to power is oftentimes more important to people than freedom.
And everyone's liberation.
Because maybe they'll be nice and carry me under their umbrella of power.
And they'll spare me then.
Yes, maybe they'll spare me, which they will not. You are actually going to be on the front lines of receiving their violence.
Yeah.
Now keep that in your mind. Now listen to this one from a Christian nationalist pastor.
I'll take it a step further. It is not inherently evil to own another human being. I know, just wait, some of you guys are really upset, but let's talk through this because it is very important that every Christian affirm what I just said. And not only should they affirm it, every Christian in today's society should be able to defend what I just said, okay?
Oh, this is right.
Right, okay, so breaking that down, because that was very sped up, very quick. So white women voting Republican is essentially wrong. It's dangerous. They are oppressed. It's ownership, all of that. And obviously the pastor is saying that it is not wrong to own a human being. Okay, just to break that down for you.
Right? And I bet your mind immediately jumped to black people because that's how we're wired, to connect slavery with black people. But
No, I didn't jump to black people and slavery. How on earth did you go from normal genes ad to eugenics to black people to black slavery just because the pastor and that other video clip say it's okay to own another human being? Make it make sense. For all you know, in my mind, I could have jumped to white on white slavery because that was just as common as black slavery. Black people were not the only ones that were oppressed in history. You know, all of our cultures have a history of oppressing their own people. Now, let's watch the rest of the video.
so are the human beings. Now take a step back. Forget for an instant that the institution of slavery is still alive and kicking in the United States, and it's the base of prosperity of some of the best-known companies in the world that use low-cost labor to continue to have massive profits. Forget for a second that the supply chains that provide raw materials and manufactured goods to the West has slavery in them. Case in point, the phone that I'm recording this with. Who has been the group of people that for the last 2,000 years in Western countries and in the colonies that they settled have been in one way or another subjugated by their male counterparts, white women. What that pastor is saying is not just for us minorities, it's also for white women. Because you can tradwife all you want, but at the end of the day, you still have a framework of laws that allow you to step back from it. The white men who are pro-eugenics and pro-owning other human beings do not like that, especially because all of these men have one preoccupation in common.
You think having a black son would still totally be normal?
Let's say you were the last person who could have children in your bloodline. You would throw away 10,000 years of like pure blood for that?
See women as baby-making machines for the continuation of whiteness in a world in which the demographic cliff of Western countries is driving the far right to insane levels of alarm. And don't let
Well, I'm not entirely sure about that, but okay, let's carry on.
yourselves be fooled by the propaganda from the West. In Switzerland, a Western country, women were only fully given the right to vote in all cantons in the 1990s by order of a court. So yes, a genes advert can be that deep.
Or it could just be a genes ad, pure and simple. Jupiter Ball appears to be showing contempt, so with the corner of his mouth about this particular subject, and I'm just talking about his facial expression there. I've done a lot of study on facial expression on YouTube because of acting, so it helps. He goes on about how white women are subjugated by men as well. In particular, white men are doing it. He's suggesting that white women are part of selective breeding because of white men wanting control, hence eugenics, hence the purity, hence why this ad is causing so many problems in his opinion. It's just a genes ad. And when we can move past the fact that Sydney Sweeney simply just does not care, we can stop making a mountain out of a non-existent molehill. It's just a genes ad. Well, anyway, that's what I think. Let me know what you think. Chat about it, don't shout about it. Check out some of the other content I've picked out for you. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you will like the new upload schedule. I'm certainly looking forward to it, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching today. Don't forget you can join me on my other platforms as well. I've got YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, X, TikTok, Instagram, Locals, Substack, and I also have a Discord. Everything is linked below.